The government insists that it will not pull its controversial welfare bill, despite a growing number of MPs, including at least 18 from our region, rebelling against it.
The legislation plans to restrict eligibility for the personal independence payment, the main disability payment in England, and limit the sickness-related element of universal credit.
The government insists the reforms are necessary to encourage more people into work. A vote on the proposals is due to take place next week. Our political correspondent Charanpreet Kaur has the story.
Where do you want to live?
With some friends.
You want to live with some friends?
Yeah.
Sadly, that's a distant prospect for 17-year-old Tyler.
Yeah, go on.
His parents provide him with round-the-clock care, but under the Welfare Secretary's plans to reduce universal credit for under-22s, they fear he could lose out.
The way Tyler is, he cannot at all ever go into work or become an apprentice. It's impossible. Tyler's got the mental age of a 3 to 5 year old. He can't read or write.
The government wants all young people earning or learning, but its own impact assessments suggest its new bill could push an extra 250,000 people into relative poverty.
I'm appalled at the government, to be honest with you, for them to hit the most vulnerable people that they have done.
It's calls from campaigners and MPs alike that some say will force the government to change track. But standing in for Sir Keir Starmer at Prime Minister's questions, Angela Rayner said it's full steam ahead.
Can she at least assure the House that the vote on Tuesday will actually go ahead?
We will go ahead on Tuesday.
But almost a third of Labour MPs don't want that to happen. More than 120 have now signed an amendment to wreck the legislation, including some usually loyal to the government.
We are not a group of rebels. We are people who work with government, and we hope to continue to work with government right up to the vote to see if there is any chance of a pause and a rethink.
Without a rethink, some believe we'll see a U-turn, and it wouldn't be the first time.
As eventually they did about the winter fuel payments, let's hope this time they listen before they pass the legislation and then recognise afterwards they've got it wrong.
And this is why it matters. If all opposition parties vote against the bill, only 83 Labour MPs need to join them for it to be defeated. And already, more than that, over 120 have signed this amendment. A way out is if the Conservatives decide to support the reforms, but they've stipulated conditions that the government is unlikely to meet. Desperate to make up the numbers, government whips are trying to persuade rebels to change their minds. But Richard Bergen says he's less concerned with upsetting his party and more his constituents.
The real threat to Labour MPs, I'm afraid, if they don't vote against this on Tuesday, if the government doesn't drop it, they're going to be discussing this with their constituents on general election day.
But it's the result of last year's election day that's bolstering the Prime Minister's resolve.
We're elected into change and to deal with and mend that which was broken. That was the mandate that everybody stood on at the last election. If I may say so, many people predicted before the election that we couldn't read the room, we hadn't got the politics right, and we got a landslide victory.
Any leader can only keep a hold of victory if his troops are behind him. And Sir Keir Starmer seem more willing to do battle with him than for him.
And Charanpreet joins us live now, and it sounds like the government is sticking to its guns, Charanpreet. Will it persuade these rebels to back down?
Yeah, that's right, Ian. For now, they're sticking to that resolve, despite widespread speculation that they might pull that bill today. Instead, they're carrying on with that whipping operation, trying to persuade their MPs. But one Labour source that I spoke to earlier told me that it's having a detrimental effect and the rebels are actually digging in their heels. There are now two options in front of the government. Either they gamble on being able to persuade enough MPs not to vote for this amendment and they go ahead as planned, or they take a different approach. They soften some of the measures in the legislation in the hope that more MPs will be brought on side. In either case, they're running out of time. This is due to go through Parliament on Tuesday.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Charanpreet Kaur live at Westminster. Thank you.